What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Kibbetech. We'll just jump right into these parts that I got here on the table. Big brake kit for your Raptors. We've gone over this before with the Mike's twin turbo V8 Raptor build. Here's the latest and greatest version of that kit. So it runs Aero 6 Willwood 6-piston calipers, and then we actually machine the adapter bracket from one piece of aluminum now. So the first version was laser cut steel plate and some standoffs to get the spacing correct, and then you use the Willwood adapter bracket to go to our bracket. So now it's just this bracket bolts right onto the caliper, and then this bolts on to the 4-bolt flange that's on your axle. So this goes on the back side, and then on the front side we have a laser cut 1/8" bracket that holds your wheel speed sensor. So all this will bolt right onto your Curry Raptor rear end. And with some work, you can make it work on your stock rear end as well. And then we also machine the rotor hats. So with the Curry rear end, with the drive flange, you can't get, this center won't go over this. So you run stock brakes or aftermarket, you're gonna have to do some work there. So basically we machine that to where that goes all the way through, and it's got a perfect fit there. Before I used to just do this on the manual lathe. We made a fixture and wrote a program, so we do this in the CNC now, which makes it a lot easier. And we take off this extra flange. So there's a flange right here that sticks off about this far, and that's for a surface area right here for like a parking brake shoe. But we eliminate all of that, so we eliminate that lip there, which makes it easier for us to assemble this setup. So we run like the Willwood hardware kit, and it has provisions for safety wire. So this is a lot easier to safety wire these bolts without a lip here when you're working in this little cavity. So we take that off there because it's not needed, and then just kind of, takes a little bit of weight out of these because these are heavy. They're about 8.5 pounds a piece. 14-inch rotor, 1.25 inch thick. These kits are in stock, ready to go. So we got a bunch of brackets cut out, hardware kits ready to go. So basically per order, we will order up the parts from Willwood, which right now they're good in stock at Willwood. So yeah, big brake kit for your Raptor ready to go. All right, another cool new product that we haven't shown you yet, which we actually got one on the Chrome truck, but it was like 2 hours after we were done filming is when we got the part back from Anodize. But here it is. So shift handles for your B&M Pro ratchet shifter. We decided we wanted to run something different for a shifter. Everyone runs the same shifter in every truck, so we want to do something different, kind of personalize these trucks a little bit. And I like the way this one works more than like the gated shifter. You can see how it works here. So basically you're all the way into first, second, third, fourth, and then it has a lockout so you can't go into neutral. Hit that forward, then your neutral, reverse, park. So pretty cool setup. I like the way, driving with it, I like the way it feels, and I like the way it works. So yeah, so we decided to make our own handles for it, which you can see here. So basically our handle just replaces the factory one that it comes with. A little bit taller, and then we actually made it match the handbrake. So handbrake and your shifter handle will match. So when you get them mounted in the console, you have a nice matching set going on there. So just something else that we wanted to make, or that I wanted to make for a while now. So finally got these done, and we will have these on the website. We'll just be selling the shifter, and you buy. We'll sell this handle only, and then you can buy the shifter on your own and deal with that. Or if you already have it, then you can just upgrade to this one. It's another cool part that we came up with. All right, over here we got the laser in action. We're cutting a bunch of more long travel kits. Cutting a bunch of 3/16 right now. But yeah, we'll go talk about our nitrogen tank over here. So we got this a few months ago. We were going through the 8-packs a little, or 6-packs or whatever, a little fast. So we ended up going with the micro bulk So this is actually full of liquid nitrogen. And then it goes through all these, does a bunch of science, and then it turns into a gas, and then we cut with nitrogen. So with the nitrogen cut, you get like a nice clean edge that you can weld right to, so you don't have to prep it. We always cut with nitrogen. We cut our tubes with nitrogen. When this thing's full, it's about 6,500 pounds. It's just a little too much for our forklift, but it does it anyway. Yeah, we get this filled about twice a month. It's like $5 grand a month to have a bunch of liquid nitrogen over here, but we need it, so there you go. All right, back over here in the corner, we got some our new long travel kit spindles wrapped up. So we talked about these a little bit last week. This particular spindle is for 2011 to 2019 Chevy 2500, 3500 long travel kit. So here's the new upright. It's got everything done, steering arms, little gusset action there, billet tabs all done on the bottom, big caliper tab. So this is all ready for powder coat right here. So this is what you get when you buy a long travel kit for your 2500. All chromoly, all TIG welded. Insane amount of hours go into welding these. As you can see how many are done right now compared to what was done last week. Lots of hours in these kits. That's why the price is where they're at. You know, you got chromoly, TIG welded, and just hours and hours of labor involved in these things. You know, you get what you pay for. Got a bunch done over here, a bunch more going on behind us. Super excited about these. And then the next up, we're gonna do the 2020 Plus, which is an identical spindle minus the backing plate and the caliper tab. So we designed the kit to where pretty much everything is the same except for that backing plate and the caliper tab, depending on the year of the truck you have. So yeah, you can find these on our website. They're for sale right now. All right, back over here on the tube chassis race truck, you see we got some headers going on in here. So we got our mock-up block mocked up in here. The new engine for this should be done delivered next week. Figured we get a jump on the headers, so we ended up going with doing a tri-wise setup. So it just helps with scavenging and building a little more power rather than just doing a 4-into-1. So on an LS, you run 2 and 4 are together, and then 6 and 8 are together into the same collector. So 2-into-1, 2-into-1, and then that 2-into-1 goes into just the single 3-inch exit, and then we'll have like a false floor right here, because that's about the height of where the floor needs to be. So this will be under the floor, and then it'll bend out of the chassis right here, and then go along the outside, and then exit up out in the rear. Yeah, just got this side all tacked together, and then actually the other side, the tri-Y is actually split. So it's 1, 5, 3, 7. So 1 and 5 will be paired, and then 3 and 7 will be paired. So that side will be a little bit different because you won't be able to get the symmetry like we got going on here on the other side. Yeah, we also got the new steering box in for this thing from Power Steering Solutions and a bunch of other parts. So just kind of chipping away at it. Next will be rear shock mounts. So stay tuned for that. All right, over here we got some more handbrakes going together. So this is our handbrake and all the parts from Willwood. And then we run some nice ARP stainless 12 points there. And then a nice little FK rod end right there. But yeah, sold out of these again, so we're making a bunch more. We got like 40 something going together right now, so order these from the website. All right, back over here on Eric's F-150, we got bedside mounts going on. So we got little support down here, keep that corner tight. We're not gonna do this yet until we get sort out the taillight, tailgate, bedside issue, because these bedsides are not meant for the tailgate that we're running. So we're gonna have to have some fiberglass work done there. And if you do fiberglass work and wanna come do it, let me know. Rear end, bed cage, and all the little parts are out at powder coat right now, so we're just buttoning up all the access panels in the bed. So we did an access panel here, so you can access the fuel pump, which is right under this panel, and bolt patterns offset because the bed cage tube, there's one right here, and then there's another one that comes across right here. So these bolts are all out of the way of those tubes, so you can access them with the bed cage in. And then we'll do another panel over here. And then we modified the fuel filler there. And then, so the fuel filler will be under the bed cage, and then it'll pop up kind of in this area. And then come around and then come to the back, which we have a cap right here, and it's built into like the bedside support right there. So a little different fuel filler setup on this one. Just gotta wait for the stuff to get back from powder coat so I can assemble the rear end and get that all done and ready to go back in, and then everything underneath welded and done. Once the bed comes off, we'll steel it to frame and then just start assembly. All right, back in here in my office slash welding room, we got the spindles off of Dan's prerunner in here, and I'm mocking up the Brembo trophy truck calipers. So he wanted to go with some big badass calipers, so we went with the full Brembo trophy truck package. And then it actually worked out on the ID Designs mounts with the 6-inch spread. It actually worked out on our existing caliper tab. So just the offset of the caliper tab had to change slightly. But got it up here on the table all mocked up. Everything checks out. So next up, I'll get these tacked on. Then I'll pull the brakes off, the hubs off, everything off, and get these kind of squared up, maybe make a fixture. Make sure these caliper tabs don't move on us. And then that thing will have all the brakes all done on it. And we got the steering arms all mocked up over here, tacked on. These are ready to get welded on each side, and then we'll box it in, do some gussets up the front here, and that thing's just another step closer to being done. All right, back over here in the machine shop, we got a bunch of TRX, Ram TRX leveling kits in assembly over here. Standard, gold, and black. So these are getting packaged up, assembled right now. We got some TRX upper arms in stock as well. TRX rear kits, more masters for our handbrake kits, making more parts on the lathe. And then over here, we have our 55-inch standard shock location trailing arms all wrapped up. And these are for Dan's truck. Super pumped on how these turned out. So we kind of took how we made our latest 60-inch trophy truck trailing arms, and we kind of just adapted that little changes over into this one. We're actually making another set of 60-inch trophy truck trailing arms right now. There's one here, there's another one in the machine. Another cool thing over here that is almost done is these. So these are our Raptor F-150 long travel kit billet uprights. Kevin, you want to talk about them? Or do you want to watch me talk about them?
I'll watch you talk about them all day. There's about 8 hours in the program right now, with about an hour left on these. All that's left is to blow that hole out.
How many times did the computer crash while writing the program for this?
I want to say probably like 15 times.
Pretty complicated part, but a lot of material removal. You could hear the machine running behind us, running the passenger sides. So these things are pretty much done. We just got to blow out this center so you can obviously get the hub and the axle through there. And then we're going to make stainless inserts for the steering and for the lower arm pickup points. Then these things are ready to go. All right, under here on Dan's truck, you see we got an old tie rod mocked up in here. So we were mocking up the steering, getting all the bump steer out of it. This is like a one-off kind of suspension deal, so we didn't want to go with where the steering arms were keyed into these spindles. So we mocked it up the old-fashioned way, measured for bump steer, got it to a point where there was 0 bump steer throughout the whole cycle. Another thing you got to do on these is bump it out, steer it all the way to one side, and then make sure the tie rod doesn't hit the frame. So you can see right here, it would have hit the frame, but we added this notch there. So we cycled that on both sides, made sure all of that clears. And another thing is if you steer out, the center link on the swing set steering will want to hit the lower arm, and on this truck, we had plenty of room there, so that was all good. So these are all the things you want to check in the shop, you know, before you just go out and bust your tie rod off the truck. We got a new shock package on order for this thing. It started out with like a basic 3.0 4.0 in the rear, and now we're doing the same 3.0 coilover but with a finned reservoir, and then we're doing a 4.5 7-tube bypass with finned reservoirs. So a little different shock package than what we started out with out back, but figured, you know, this thing's get everything, Brembos, Motec, all the good stuff, so figured might as well get the bigger shocks to go with it. But until then, we got some other mock-up ones that are the same shock, so we'll be able to use those to kind of, you know, trim the aluminum panels around them, get everything to fit to where they need to fit. Those trailing arms you just finished, we'll get those on here as well. And then kind of go through the rear, do another mock-up, and then we get the rear end out, and then that'll go back to Tube Works so they can basically set up all the third member studs, and then machine the faceplate, do the snouts, and then check the thing, make sure it's straight. And if it's not anymore, they will straighten it out, get that all dialed in. Making some good progress, and excited to get this thing on all fours. All right, that wraps it up for another episode here at Kibbetech. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out our website. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Tell us what you want to see, and we'll do our best. All right, thanks.